Going on, everybody? What is going on? The catch fam. We're back. We're better than ever. It's the 2023 fantasy football season. We have got Steven in the building for the
What's
first
up?
time.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Back in the hizzle, back in the house. I almost bought I went to a pizza place before tonight's stream. Had to get in my bag, you know what it is. And it was so weird. They were selling fedoras for $6. I was so tempted, if my cash flow wasn't so tight, to rock a fedora for tonight's draft. but I decided not to.
I thought you were gonna say you're just gonna buy pizza to eat on the stream.
Oh, dude, no. I did go pretty hard on that pizza though. Pepperoni and onions.
Um, so yeah, tonight the Catch Fam League tournament, league number one. We're drafting in like 1 minute, and we got Steven in the building. Of course, he's in this league with us, and this is a real draft. It's not a mock draft. So if you're new to the channel, thank you for being here. Make sure you guys subscribe, come hang out, and we're going to draft some fantasy football tonight and talk some fantasy football. So I know it's a little early, but I'm running like 6 drafts this year. I have a pretty tight schedule, so it's a little early. I'm not gonna lie. I don't remember the last time I drafted this early. So go ahead and make fun of me for drafting early, but it is what it is. Um, I don't know. This is like the worst intro I've done in a long time. It's probably Steven's fault,
Dude,
but
it's my face, man. You're too attracted, man. You're too attracted. Been growing out this beard for a while, looking chiseled, bro. You're looking good too, man. We were talking about it before the stream.
yeah, we've
Two attractive men.
missed this touch at the channel for sure. All right, so if you're in League One, it's 10 o'clock. We are starting. Draft is underway. Tox is not here tonight, by the way.
Jeez.
He he's getting an auto picked team, but he wants me to
Great
make
first
sure
pick.
that I'm just giving him the top player and making sure like he doesn't stack up at quarterback like early or like get like 4 running backs in a row. But he has a flight for his internship and could not make it. But other than that, we got a full house. It's gonna be a good time. So this is a great league. I mean, every league this year I think looks really good, but this league has a lot of the OGs of the
Yeah,
catch game.
I've been really looking forward to this league. I was glad. I mean, I was excited to jump into the dynasty league this year. Definitely going to be fun. Kind of going into that dynasty format for the first time. I can already see some of the guys I drafted, like Samaje Perine and Jamal Williams, losing value by the day. But it's fun because now I get to go to that normal format of the redraft and feel a little bit more confident. And it's funny. I've been trying to do a little bit of mock drafts at this spot at the 1-5, and I really hate this spot, but I told you I had a lot of excitement to take Bijan here. But
Do it.
man,
Do it.
I like my boy Austin Eckler.
Oh.
I've been listening to a lot of he does that podcast on Yahoo, and just kind of hearing him talk. I mean, he's just such a cool guy, man. Austin Eckler is such a fun dude. I haven't had him for a couple years now in fantasy, but
It's always what Steven's like fantasy picks boil
he's
down to.
cool.
He's cool. It's my
Dude,
final analysis.
I'm gonna just say this like right off the top of my head. Like the dude is small and he's got a great like he rocks the bald head better than like almost anyone. Like him and Vin Diesel, yo, they're out here. Except Austin Eckler, he does it better than him. I love him, dude. And he's just, I mean, dude, PPR, he's nuts. You know what it is about, man. He's awesome.
So yeah, I am definitely interested to get some of your thoughts like throughout the night, in terms of where you are. First of all, this first round is wild already.
Garrett
But
Wilson at the 6. I like that. That's a
yeah, I really wanted Wilson. I really
yeah.
did. I really thought he'd be there at the 112 turn. But I'm not too upset here. My question here is like, do I go hero running back and take Saquon, or do I just load up on wide receiver? And throughout my mock drafts, I've been going double wide receiver here. So I think that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to take both the Browns off the board, but it is really tempting to take Saquon there and just get my RB1 out of the way. But I love that start. But I wanted to risk it and go get some Garrett Wilson in here tonight. But Godfather's going to go get his guys. He always has his own conviction. But Bijan falling in the 1-9
Yeah.
hurts me inside.
Would you have taken him at the 12? I'm assuming, right?
I didn't think he'd be there. It
Yeah.
just hurts me. I thought he'd be gone much earlier. So it is
He is such a cool player, and it is going to be fun to see him. I think the reason why I'm always so scared of him is just because of Arthur Smith, man. But he is a fun dude. But I can just see Arthur Smith getting crazy with it, no matter what the talent is.
Boss man, I should be on tomorrow night to stream tomorrow's draft as well. Okay, I like that double wide receiver. It's always weird when we stream a real draft because I can't
it's hard to focus on both.
Well, no, I just I don't want to sway the draft in any way. Oh my gosh, we got Mahomes in the second. The mocks are just always different than the real thing.
I really like that start to what you did there, though, John. You got the big play upside with AJ, and then the safety with Mama St. Brown. I really like how that's stacked up there. That's a nice start.
By the way, good to see everyone in the chat. Dom, Made for TV, J-Dubs, Chase, Brendan, Bossman, Emil, Cinnabon. We've got Jane in the house, Emil,
Jane. All right, here we go. Oof. Okay.
Andrea, what's going on? Smokey the Cat, what's up?
All right, let's see here.
Steven getting made fun of for his dynasty trades.
Yeah, I saw that. I was going to comment on it, but I didn't want to jump in too much there.
Happy Friday, Mr. Curly Wolf. Good to have you, man.
I'm going to take a player I truly don't know how I feel about, but I think with the PPR value, it was really between him and Derrick Henry there, but I just didn't want to take too much RB up at the front there, especially with the age. But I think Adams has got it. What do you think about Adams with Jimmy Garoppolo? Because I'll be honest, man, I am very nervous about him, but I think, kind of where I got him in the second's fine. But, I do have a lot of concerns about Devontae Adams this year.
Yeah, I think the concerns are fair, but I think at the end of the day, this is still your wide receiver 3 in fantasy last year. He's been a wide receiver, or a top 3 wide receiver every year in the last 5 years, except 2019 when he was hurt, including a number 1 finish in 2020, number 2 finish in 2021. But, I think with Adams, the concerns are fair with Garoppolo potentially capping his ceiling. But I do think at the end of the day, he had 34.3 points in week 17 last year with Jarrett Stidham at quarterback. So
yeah, dude, Jarrett Stidham's no joke, bro. He's going to be starting over Russell Wilson this year, man.
Yeah. And then 12 points the following week with Stidham at quarterback once again. So, I think Adams will be fine. I do think the ceiling's a little bit lower this year. Hold on. I got to take Tox's players for him. But nonetheless, ultimately, I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It just something about it makes you feel a little queasy. Towards over players like maybe Amon-Ra or AJ Brown who feel like they have a little bit momentum or upside, maybe even like a Devonta Smith, for example. But I think at the 2.8 in full PPR, that's a good value on Adams for sure.
We haven't really gotten to talk at all about Jonathan Taylor either, man. Where are you comfortable taking him right now? What's your thoughts on what's going to happen to my guy? Because, Jim Irsay is constantly trying to save the Orcas and not save my football team. So it's very frustrating right now. I'm so sick of that guy. I never thought we could find a worse owner than Jerry Jones. And then here my dude comes up.
Yeah, I do think JT probably would have gone a little bit later, but I was instructed by Talks on how to auto pick his team, basically, and how to give him the top running back there. But, I do think, I talked a lot about this on stream. When Eckler was having his contract dispute, I was telling everyone, take Eckler at his value while you can. When he was falling to the end of the first, when it was happening with Saquon and Jacobs at the same time, I was like, draft these guys at their value while you can. And obviously, you still get Jacobs at his value, but then Barkley, like, signed the weirdest contract ever, like 2 days later, so that doesn't last too
Yeah.
long. But ultimately, with Barkley and Eckler, it paid off. And I do think with JT and even Jacobs, like if you're drafting this early, that value will probably pay off. I think both
Yeah.
those guys are going to be okay. But I do also think that there's some weird risk with JT because we don't really know the true nature behind his injuries, and the Colts don't want people to know, and JT doesn't want people to know because it affects his trade value, and then for the Colts it affects his trade value. So it's like we're kind of in this situation where we don't know if he's playing for the Colts or not. If he does, I think that's fine. If he gets traded, I think that's still fine. I don't really worry about that. I worry more about like what is actually going on with Jonathan Taylor in terms of injuries. So I don't know. I'm a little bit back and forth, but I still think in the third round, if he's there, that's fine. If Jacobs is there, that's fine as well.
I tell you what, man. I like Jerry's pick there, Jameer Gibbs. I love Jameer Gibbs. He was my favorite back. I mean, honestly, Bijan was obviously better, but I just thought the way Gibbs played in college was just so much fun. Like I loved watching him at Alabama, and I'm excited to see what he ends up being at Detroit. Man, I'm really pumped for that. So that was a cool pick, Jerry. And shout out Jerry, man. What's up? How you doing?
Man, if Jalen Hurts had fell there, I was gonna be really tempted to go Jalen Hurts.
Get that stack
And
with AJ.
yeah, but also right here, I was kind of conflicted. I was very close to going double running back, going Ramondre Stevenson and Kenneth Walker, getting my RB1, RB2 out of the way. But I just like DJ Moore. And, traditionally, this is a double flex format, full PPR. Like I want that third wide receiver and even that fourth wide receiver that I have faith in, right? So DJ Moore right there, that's my guy. And I think Ramondre, like I get Zeke's there. He's going to take some goal line touches. Zeke is still a good back. I've really supported Zeke more than a lot of people throughout the offseason. But I just think when you look at Ramondre's stats last year, so much of his fantasy value came from his pass catching upside, and that's not what Zeke's going to do. And I just think Ramondre shifting from like a late second round, early third round pick to being available at the end of the third as in a hero running back build, I think I like that a lot. So I'll take him right there. And DJ Moore is my guy.
That's true. Yeah, I was gonna say, dude. Even before you said that right there, I was like, dude, I know you got a love for DJ Moore. That
Yeah. I
it's
just
burning
saw him
bright.
sitting there and I was like, man, there are a lot of names I like available, but if I don't take him here, I'm not getting him. So JS, I'm gonna have PPR 14 team keeper league. I picked third. Chase and JJ are being kept. Who should I aim for? Bijan. Especially in half PPR.
Chase took my guy. I was waiting on him to fall for me. Gosh dang it.
Get ready for Steven to do that all night.
Oh. Okay. Let's see here.
Cinnabon, I hesitated between Higgins and Ridley, and I feel like that decision is going to haunt me all season. Could be. Got to trust your gut. Mr. Curly Wolf, guy wants my Hurts for his Pollard. It just depends on, I mean, that's a very, quarterback for a running back. Two very different roster, your entire roster matters here as well as context. So, of course, Steven would take the player that I wanted.
Oh, no way. Really?
Well, Walker's not coming back to me, but I just said I almost went Walker over DJ Moore.
So did you felt good about that pick? Because I was
love
like
Walker there.
Okay,
Walker is your RB2 behind Eckler. Dang, you have a good team so far, bro.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Because I was actually drafting well.
I was like, I mean, I'm telling you, like, I really wanted to go with the RB, at the start, and then go 3 to 4 receivers, following. But Keenan Allen was my guy there. Now you look at it, and it's like there's a couple dudes like Hopkins and McLaurin were obviously my next two there that I were looking at. I mean, Ayuk is obviously super fresh, but man, I wanted Allen. Chase, that was a good freaking snag right there, dude. That was a good pick.
No, I love your start. I mean, I've been gravitating more towards a hero running back build, but man, I think Walker's just going to be. I mean, I'm not like Walker has been the guy I've been looking for in terms of a uh, value running back throughout the season and or off season, and yeah, I think he's going to be just fine, even
Yeah.
with Charbs there, the groin injury popping up. I have no concerns.
Now there's a guy that's disappointed me so far this offseason for personal reasons. But yeah, man. How do you feel about Dalvin Cook? I mean, I'm sure you've talked about it, but we haven't really talked about it much. I feel like this Jets backfield is going to be one that's really, very similar to the Packers and how they've been doing things. I think it's going to be a fun backfield.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, there is some reasons to be a little worried about Brees Hall with Cook going there. And I think the main reasons are the fact that the Jets already had Michael Carter, already had Zonovan Knight, who had flashes last year, then drafted Izzy, who's like a great prospect, had Brees Hall there, who's the obvious RB1, and then have been vocal all off season about adding someone else to the backfield. So it just makes you feel a little bit queasy. Like, are the Jets not confident in Hall,
Yeah.
being fully ready this year? Or if he is fully ready, what does that actually look like? So I think ultimately I'm a little worried, but I do think this offense is going to be efficient enough, with Rodgers at the helm, all that pretty stuff. I don't think they're going to be I don't think they're going to be like Broncos level bad and it's all hype. And I don't think they're going to be like Eagles level good of last year, but I do think they're going to be an efficient offense.
Mhm.
And I think they're going to be good. But something about the whole situation just makes me feel a little queasy. So I don't know what it is, but I do like Hall at his current value. Like Brees Hall in the 5th round,
Oof.
I don't have a problem with that at all.
John, I'm sorry to interrupt here, but I am
Yeah.
so glad I took Jackson there because this quarterback run started going fast. Holy crap. Oh,
QBs are
man.
going.
Oh,
I mean, it
jeez.
always happens. Like you always are able, dude. I'm kind of happy about it because, like,
A lot of value felt to you right now.
dude, I'm getting my guys right now. So I'm gonna get Swift as my RB2, which I love, and I'm gonna get Christian Kirk as my wide receiver
Oh,
4.
I like that pick. I like that
So
pick.
I'm sitting over here just drafting my guys at the end of each round, and I'm gonna go late round quarterback tonight, and I'll be all right, I think. But if Trevor Lawrence was here at the end of the 5th, I'm probably taking T-Law. And I've talked about this throughout the offseason. Like, this is the tier break for me. Like, you have the obvious kind of elite tier, Mahomes, Allen, Hurts. Then you kind of have that, like, you can say there's a mid tier, but I think this next tier, any of these guys could finish in front of Mahomes, Hurts, or Allen, or right behind them. So Burrow, Lamar, Herbert, Fields, T-Law, all of those guys, I think could easily be top 3 quarterbacks this year. I think there's a pretty steady drop off once these 7 quarterbacks are gone, but they're still good enough, value at the position throughout the draft. But, at the end of the day, T-Law and Fields are the 2 guys that I feel really good about going into the season.
I love Herbert this
And
year.
I think Herbert's is going to bounce back in high fashion with Kellen Moore
Yeah.
as his offensive coordinator. They're going to let him rip it. You have Quentin Johnston there. Allen and Williams should be healthy this year compared to last year. And Herbert was hurt last year too. So
I forget that too, but I do think that's always a forgotten thing is that he was banged up like the whole year. He just kind of played through it.
sure,
It's kind of wild to think about, but yeah,
sure.
that dude's awesome, and he is just super fresh too.
That's all that matters. Cool hair.
All right, I'm gonna take a guy that I think you do not like at all, but I'm gonna take him here and have him in the dynasty league too, and I think that's why I know you don't like him.
No, I like Godwin here. I
Okay,
do.
okay,
When you break down, I actually recorded a short on Godwin that I never published. But he got hurt week 1, missed week 2 and week 3, so you can scratch that. If you scratch that, double digits and full PPR every game last year, except for week 18 where he was half a point away. And I get it. You're going from Brady to Baker. Like that's a
dude,
tough change, Chris.
Baker
I get it.
Mayfield.
but I still think he's going to get the majority of the targets. Evans is the red zone guy. Evans still make big plays. I don't think
Yeah.
there's as much consistency there. But Evans, another guy, I think is a decent value. Godwin in full PPR, I still think is a great value. He's your wide receiver 4. I'm sorry, I'm looking at Spence. He's your wide receiver 3. That's still a good place to draft your wide receiver 3, or a good value as a wide receiver 3, because he's the wide receiver 1 in his offense. And I always say it, bad offenses are still going to produce good fantasy players at the end of the day. So I don't have a problem with it whatsoever.
Well, speaking of Spencer, I mean, I love my man Spence. But I gotta ask, John, what do you think about another bad team and another receiver that's got a lot of question marks, Michael Pittman? Because I think AR-15 is the coolest dude under the sun, but I'm not too sure how he's gonna be as a quarterback. And Michael Pittman, I'll be honest, man, I'm not totally sold on Michael Pittman as a player yet. I think he's got a lot left to prove. And if I had to pick for the Colts to invest in a player, I would say Jonathan Taylor over Pittman any day. And that's not popular because, I mean, Taylor had a lot of carries in college. He's had a lot of carries in the NFL. But that was a lot basically said. But what are your thoughts on Pitty?
Yeah, so Spencer's always been a Pittman fan. I think Pittman's okay. I mean, it kind of goes back to that same argument with Godwin. Like, he's the wide receiver 1 on this offense. He's going to get the targets, but he has just kind of been average the last 2 years. Is that Pittman's fault, or is that the Colts' fault for not having a quarterback in front of him? I don't quite know. The combination of Matt Ryan, Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz.
The best
I mean,
trio of QBs in the world.
that'll do things. That'll do bad things to a wide receiver.
Yeah, he has
Um, and I think once again, Pittman as a wide receiver 3 or 4 is a good value. And full PPR.
Yeah.
Because these guys are still going to garner those targets. And I don't really have a problem with it. But do I think the ceiling's crazy high for Pittman? It depends. Probably not. I do like Anthony Richardson, but I'm higher on Anthony Richardson as a sophomore quarterback in
Yeah, he's gonna be
comparison
nice.
to. I think this year there's going to be a lot of growing pains. You're going to see the flashes, but like, I'm not particularly going out and chasing Anthony Richardson this year. Maybe in best ball, but I'm just not crazy high on him.
Interested
But
to
I
see.
think you're going to see a similar progression to like Justin Fields or Jalen Hurts. So.
Yeah. I think Fields is actually probably the most comparable here. Um, I don't know. I feel like Hurts was just such a great situation, whereas I think Fields and Richardson are in pretty similar situations. Like they were not great teams that they kind of landed in. Whereas Hurts kind of landed in the best offensive line in football, and I think that helped him a lot. But I do have to comment while you're doing this.
Tough
I,
picks for me there. Sorry. Go ahead.
I could tell you were locked in there. Um, but James Cook, I like him a lot, man. I
It's
want
funny.
him to be something. I want him to be something. I love Jerry's pick there. I thought that was a really dope pick. J Dub's team, by the way, I'm watching that. It looks fantastic. I'm liking it a lot.
Do you remember? Do you remember last year when I loved James Cook and you were always making fun of me
Dude, I
for?
didn't like. Yeah, I know. I know. I mean, I don't know what it is. I think I'm just buying the hype, and I feel like he's definitely not going to pan out, even though I'm buying the hype right now. But I hear all this crap about how he's like going to be the dude this year, and I'm like, oh my gosh, dude.
Pass catching. Yeah.
Last year, I bought into Gabe Davis, and I just don't know how to trust that Bills offense. But we'll see what happens. I mean, he's definitely a talented dude. Um, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be exciting. And, oh, there goes Gabe right there to J Dub. That was
There's
that was good timing. Yeah.
Emil asked Swift as your RB2, explain why. So I've talked about this a lot, but I just think in this offense, Swift is going to be utilized to his skill set perfectly. He doesn't have the pressure of having to be on the field all the time with Gainwell, Penny, and Boston Scott even there. Plus, defenses lining up have to account for Jalen Hurts as a rushing quarterback. He might rush less because of the contract and everything, but still got to rush enough. And then, I mean, you have Brown, Smith, Goddard lining up. And, Swift is going to be the pass catching back here. I just think the upside's there. There's still risk here. Don't get me wrong. But I like that upside at that RB2 spot. I just want to kind of filter that RB2 spot throughout the year, have a steady RB1, hopefully in Ramondre, and then just have consistent wide receiver. So I'm still in on Swift, but I understand the risk that's associated. I think there's enough upside to take him there. Space Ghost, what's up, bro? Oh. JSC saying what's up to Steven.
Too early. What is up, JSC? That was too early on Pat F, man. I do like my guy, but I felt a little too early there.
I mean, if you don't take him there, you might get him at the 9.5, but
yeah, I think it's Jijoka too.
You probably won't. I mean, little run of tight end here, but Cinnabon says I was going to take Tua, then Godfather ruins my plan by overdrafting by 3 rounds. Never know, man. Okay, back to my picks there at the 7, 12, 8, 1. Those were hard picks. I knew I was going to take Pacheco. I knew I needed at least one running back with one of those 2 picks. The next pick was hard because I like Quentin Johnston. I've been talking a lot about, drafting a rookie wide receiver and kind of having this tier of rookie wide receivers, JSN, Flowers, Addison, Quentin Johnston. Like, when you look at the trend in fantasy football over the last couple years, like, rookie wide receivers are going to produce sooner rather than later. And those are the 4 guys who I especially feel good about. And it was just tough for me because I think that there's nice upside there in Quentin Johnston. We were just talking about that offense, but I felt like there's a tier drop off at running back after like Gibson, Dillon, Brian Robinson, and even Cook are gone. And then it came down to Antonio Gibson or AJ Dillon. And I overall throughout the offseason, I've been drafting more Gibson right there. But you know what it came down to is I didn't want to trust a Washington.
you weren't about the local support, man.
No, I don't know.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you for that. I'm just saying.
We both grew up Washington fans, so we get it.
We watched that turmoil.
Yeah, but that's what it boiled down to, which makes no logic. I think sometimes in your drafts you have to look at things and say, I'm going to make a decision that has no logic behind it. So that's what I did.
Dude, this is getting pretty dark right here, man.
I mean, Carp's a good pick there.
Yeah, I mean, I got the basically I own the Seahawks backfield with that, but it is it's really not what I wanted to do. Herbert was wow, yeah, that was okay. So Herbert went right there. How do you feel about Herbert there? Because
love that.
I know you're super high on the Bears. Herbert obviously he looked good in preseason.
I think
yeah.
I mean, there's 2 things you could have gone if you were going to go running back there, and those are the 2 guys. Like Charps, you lock up the Seahawks backfield, which is fine. If something happens to Walker, you have the RB1, so it's probably a smart pick. But sometimes I like to kind of diversify and not take 2 of the same guys from the same backfield. So, hold on, I'm locking in, Steven.
Yeah, you're good.
You're
getting late on QB here.
I'm kind of tempted to go with another running back here, and I almost wish I went with a different player over AJ Dillon because I like this kind of dead zone right here of like some Majay Pirine, A. Shane, Jerick McKinnon, but I'm going to take a wide receiver and I'm going to take Romeo Doubs because I love him this year. I also like Cortland Sutton right there a lot, but I just think the hype from the last week about the Packers is in my head, and that's who I'm going with. So.
Sutton, baby, my best dynasty pick.
I see. Like, I think Andrea is getting some really good value wide receivers here. She goes quarterback early, has 3 running backs through the first 6. Elijah Moore, Sky Moore, and Cortland Sutton in a row. I love all those picks. I will say if Sky Moore was there, I was going to be really tempted to fade tight end another round. But, man, I know you guys out there were looking at the tight ends available, and somebody was going to take Cole Kmet for me if I didn't take him. So, but But I love Romeo Dobbs, especially catching that touchdown, the preseason game. That's all that matters. If your player catches one touchdown in preseason, like they're going to be good. But I don't know. I'm still happy with this, but I really kind of wanted Devon A. Shane on one of my teams, but he's gone to Jerry. A good pick for Jer.
That's where I was targeting too. I was going to snag him in this round.
I'm happy with this start tonight.
I'm interested to see. I mean, there is still a lot of QBs available. So, and you're good there.
We're going to get a big run on this kind of dead zone of running backs. Yeah, it's going. I love Damian Harris in this range too. I've talked a lot about this. I mean, everyone has heard me say it, maybe except you, but I think he's still tied to Buffalo, a good offense and everything.
He's solid, man. Yeah, he's solid.
We talked about Cook. I like him as the pass catching, the upside player there, but I do think that ultimately Harris is a good value where he's going as well.
Ooh. Getting spicy of it.
How do you feel about the pick? How do you feel about it?
I'll be honest, man. I mean, I think part of that had to do with the Lamar Jackson pick. It would be kind of nice to have some sort of tie there, but I'll be honest. A lot of it is I've heard good things from him in camp. I feel like he is still an electric player. If you can tell me Lamar Jackson, OBJ is playing all the season, bro, he's gonna be nice. Like, he's a good player. Like, I don't think he's really that much of a regression in terms of a player over the past couple of years. Like, whenever he's on the field, like, he's nice. He's one of the better receivers. And you can't tell me Zay Flowers or any of those other guys is a better straight up receiver. I think Zay Flowers will be 100%, maybe even by the end of this year. But I mean, Odell Beckham, man, he is a good player. He's got really good hands. I think because they paid him a ton of money, they're going to force feed him the ball. So I'm all right with him as my wide receiver 5, but it didn't feel great drafting.
It's interesting because I feel like you've always hated on Odell on the screen, dude.
Yeah. But it is kind of weird because I didn't know where he was going to land before he landed with Baltimore. And I didn't love him really even there at first. But, I mean, you hear all these exciting things about this offense that's going to be this year. And I don't know, man. I'm starting to buy the hype a little bit, man. I'm starting to buy the juice.
Sure. Well, I like it. I mean, I do think the Ravens with Todd Monken as offensive coordinator are going to be much better this year. They're going to air it out. They're going to let Lamar Action Jackson do his thing. So, ultimately, I like the value there. I think that's fine.
I like my boy Algier too. I
like that pick for you. I think that's a good 4th running back and in the position you're in. So, Jer, how's my team looking? Thank you for the super chat, Jerry. Went into it blind. What we got here, Jer Bear? Mahomes a little bit earlier, but if Mahomes is going beginning of the 3rd and mocks and a lot of home leagues, Mahomes is going to go with the 2.5, 2.6, 2.7 because somebody's just going to say, I'm not coming out of my draft without him. Kittle's fine there. Gibbs, Madison Cook, Dalvin Cook, A-Chain. I like your running backs. Jerry, you've got to, you should have not drafted Justin Tucker there.
Yo, I didn't even notice that. That's awesome.
Jerry, I do like your team so far, but you've got to, your last 4 picks here, you probably shouldn't even draft a defense. You need to just draft wide receivers because it's a double flex, full PPR format. You need those wide receivers.
Yo, I didn't even see that. JT in the 11th, yo.
So I don't like anyone available. I was really hoping Tank Bigsby would be here. I like Bigsby right now.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna go back-to-back quarterbacks here. So let's go Geno.
An AR-15.
I might draft Anthony Richardson, dude.
He's a perfect pick there. He's a perfect pick.
I feel like I really like Kirk Cousins right now because I've been watching quarterback.
Oh my god,
he's so cool!
Totally different people right there. AR-15 and Kirk Cousins.
I'm gonna do it for the catch fam. I'm gonna draft Richardson.
There we go.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna draft Richardson. Let me know what you guys think. And we just talked about at the beginning of the stream, like, yeah, I'm
He
not drafting
sucks.
him
He
until he's a
sucks.
sophomore. But I think with Gino, you get that stability piece. Hopefully, he doesn't like completely regress into his original form this year. Then
How he was.
Richardson, you get that upside potentially, with the rushing. I do think he's going to struggle this year. But you've seen a lot of different things out of the preseason and off season, I guess I should say, training camp with Richardson. Like you'll see a play and you're like, oh my gosh, that was incredible. Like the clip of him going around in practice today, like off his back foot, throwing a 75-yard,
Yeah,
basically
that was
touchdown.
fresh. That was
And then you
fresh.
look at the stats from like the joint practices, and it's like, he was like 4 of 11 with 2 picks, and you're like, okay, you know. But I do think there will be flashes, like I said earlier. I just think it's going to take time, and I think it's a similar progression timeline to like to Fields, So I'll do it here because I think it's fun and I like this team a lot. And I need 2 quarterbacks, kind of an anchor quarterback build. And someone's got to take them. So I think he would have been interesting for your team, for example, like behind Lamar.
I mean,
But
honestly, dude, if I didn't do that in our dynasty league, I would have been more tempted to. But I
yeah,
can't have that complete exposure, like across multiple leagues. Like that would have scared the heck out of me.
I think that Cinnabon got two really good late round values at quarterback. Watson in the 9th, and then Prescott in the 11th. I think that's as good of like an anchor quarterback late round build that you can do. So
Yeah, I like the Prescott.
I love that. Jerry says Tucker to the moon. So this draft has gone by so fast.
Yeah, it has gone by super quick.
Holy cannoli.
30 minutes.
Yeah, you guys are killing it. I love what Made for TV did at tight end. I think that Kincaid, I haven't been super high on Kincaid, but I've started to really grow. And I don't know. I just think that could be a really fun pick.
I like Made for TV's team a lot. It's John, I didn't bring this up when it happened because I think you were talking about something, but Michael Thomas, the pick he made there in the 8th, I was super tempted to do that when I took Pat F. And just kind of curious what your thoughts are there because I know Derek Carr, he's a guy who can really support a wide receiver. And I think we all assume it's going to be Chris Olave because he's the better receiver. And Michael Thomas is a huge, huge disappointment of a person. I can already tell what your feelings are as I'm saying this, but is there any chance he is like a wide receiver 2 to wide receiver 3, like just somewhat average?
Yes, of course. He's got to stay healthy. Obviously, last year, when you look at what he was doing when he was healthy, I was very vocal about not drafting Michael Thomas last year. And I'm still vocal. Obviously, when he's healthy, he can still ball. But obviously, when he's not healthy, he's out for the whole year.
Yeah.
And that was my main, like week 1, I made a video. I remember it was like, these were like my worst picks from week 1. And one of them was like, don't trust Michael Thomas, like sucks, whatever. And he had like 22 points week 1 or whatever. So, I just think there's too much risk, in the 8th round, whatever, but at the end of the day, that's like your wide receiver 3 in that build. I just can't trust it. If he's your wide receiver 5, that's one thing. Outside of that, I can't do it. I'm just not there personally.
Yeah. I feel that. And it is one of those things. Just like with Odell Beckham, it sucks because some of these guys, if you knew that they were going to be healthy, like Kadarius Toney, if you knew they were going to be healthy, they would be good. But just some players cannot stay healthy for even half the season, 3/4 of the season. And with Michael Thomas, I think his career might just be done. And if he does not stay healthy this year, it's done. It's over. Oh, Tank Dell. I like that pick.
I love those picks, but there are a lot of wide receivers right here that I really like. But I'm going to take some upside here at the end of the draft, and I'm forfeiting kicker or defense. I haven't decided which one. It's probably defense because what do we do here at the Catch, Steve?
Dude, We stream
We
that
stream.
defense. Although I have a defense that this is a little early sneak peek into the week one defenses. So hopefully it doesn't get taken so that I can kind of allude to it. But
Why don't you just wait like
I,
literally 60 seconds?
I'm not going to say anything. So I'm really hoping it doesn't go because
Coast to coast. What's up,
I'm
dude? Been a while.
really upset if it goes. What's up, Albert? How you doing?
Albert's in the house. Dude, I can't believe this draft took like
I know.
over, dude. I mean, 40 minutes, that makes sense. That makes sense. We just I guess because I'm so used to like streaming alone and now that we've been talking, it feels like I've been
It's
on for
going
5 minutes.
quick. It's going quick.
So we'll go over each team at the end of the draft and yeah. This just went by super fast. I'm really happy with this team. Like this is exactly how I kind of wanted to draft my team. Maybe outside of thinking I could get a better late round quarterback value. And I did not envision taking Anthony Richardson at all whatsoever. But other than that, I'm pretty good with this team.
Okay, man. So I got to jump in here. The Ravens defense has really, really gotten much better over the past year. Now going up against Houston week one, dude, this is gonna be a fun game, bro. CJ Stroud looked like some straight butt cheeks. I cannot wait until this Ravens defense feast, bro. It's gonna be a fun one for sure. And I saw Senior Cinnabon say, not the Saints, and Saints are gonna be fun too for sure. But
well, I think the Saints, when you look at
Tennessee.
Well, I like that you're thinking week one specifically.
Yeah.
But I like, when you look at the Saints, they're going to be playing Bryce Young twice a year, Desmond Ridder twice a year, and Baker or Kyle Trask twice a year. So you have to like that, right?
Best quarterback in the league. What are you talking about? Are you kidding me? Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield? That's like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady on rotation, dude.
But, and don't get me wrong, like some of those guys could definitely Ridder could be better than we're thinking. Even Young could be better, but I still think it's a good division in terms of targeting quarterbacks. But yeah, I love the Ravens defense. I mean, they're your defense 7 last year. They just signed Jadeveon Clowney today, whatever that means. But ultimately, I do think they're a great pick there. And I didn't realize they were playing Houston week one. That's definitely, gives them more value heading into week one of the year as well.
I think it'll be a good stream. Part of the reason I drafted him was just so we could kind of talk about that because definitely going to be highlighting them for week one, but streaming every week, baby. But the Saints, yeah, definitely getting up that division matchups is going to be fun.
Pressure's on, man. You're drafting kicker right now.
Boom. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. No, I like. I think I just wanted to
not draft a kicker. You're the kicker guy.
I know. Well, because I want to switch it up. I can't give you guys too many preludes to what's going on for the streamers week one, but there's one guy and his last name rhymes with hay, and I'm definitely gonna be targeting him now that he's on the Colts. Because Matt Gay is old.
Dude, you're like destined to have Matt Gay now.
Dude, Matt Gay's my boy, dude. Matt Gay's gonna be on the streamers every single week, like regardless.
Gotta be.
Even if he's on bye week.
I was hoping the Patriots somehow fell to me. I didn't think they would, but I was hoping they would.
It went pretty late.
Yeah, Jerry got like the best value of the draft there. Nick, rank these running backs: Akers, Pierce, Swift, Madison. You guys might hate me, but like I'm probably going Swift, Madison, Akers, Pierce. But I'm mainly looking at offenses that they're on. I'm drafting the Seattle Seahawks defense, baby.
I like that. Dude, the Pats defense with Christian Gonzalez is going to be nuts, bro. Those guys are going to wreck.
Yeah, and I love what the Seahawks did in the draft, too. They have like 2 stud corners now. So
they've been killing it for so long.
Wow, that draft went so fast.
Woo.
But honestly, not really. 45 minutes is pretty straight. So, okay, let's take a look at each team. Thank you guys for drafting. That was a blast. Okay, sip of water.
Oh yeah, let me get one too. Actually, I'm pretty thirsty. A lot of pizza tonight.
Okay, Talks could not join us, but this is the team that he got. He basically just got made sure that I evened it out for him because there was a point if I didn't, he was gonna have like 2 quarterbacks way too early and like all running backs basically. But anyways, Talks, we're proud of you in your internship, and we're glad you're in League One. But Joe Burrow, Kyle Pitts turned out okay there. JT Hall, Robinson, Jamal Williams could be very solid. JJ, he got Metcalf early. I mean, I was told to give him the top available wide receiver there.
Barely.
It was Metcalf in terms of rankings. So that's who we got. Mike Williams, I think, was a great value for him.
Mm.
Tony could be fun. Thielen, Mingo, Hyatt is interesting. But I'm pretty sure Tox is a huge fan of Mingo. So that's good. And he got the Dolphins defense and Bucker. So like this team could be okay. I mean, Burrow, Pitts, JT Hall, JJ Metcalf, Williams, Tony are your presumed starters. So I think this is definitely a team you can work with going into the year.
Could be a great late season type of team too.
Sure.
Because I mean, you got JT, Hall, Burrow. If all things are going well at the end of the season, that could be a hot team.
Yeah. I think Hall and JT could end up being like really nice. And then even Brian
Yeah.
Robinson in the 8th. So
B-Rob.
that's an interesting team. Just kind of was basically an auto pick team. So, all right, let's look at made for TV. We got Allen at QB, went Allen in the 3rd. Late round tight end build, Schultz and Kincaid. I like Kincaid even more, knowing that you have Allen at QB. And I think Kincaid was really smart behind Schultz, who's on that Texans offense, Henry Jones, Connor, Kamara. I like that. Imagine having those 4 guys like 2 years ago.
I know. Glory days.
Yeah. Chase, Hopkins, Thomas, Juju, Justin Ross, and Mechie. See, I get a little queasy about some of these wide receivers. Like in a 2 wide receiver, 2 flex, full PPR format, I like envision it as a 4 wide receiver league essentially. So like I am really heavy on wide receivers in these formats. So like D-Hop is fine, but the Titans were like the 30th ranked passing offense last year. I don't know if that is going to get better this year. Treylon Burks is like already hurt. Michael Thomas, we already talked about. Juju, I think, is actually a pretty decent value there. He's going to be the wide receiver 1. Yeah, that offense is not great in terms of passing either, but you got him in the 9th round. I think that's fine, but I just don't think the ceiling's super high.
I think a big thing about this team is like if that first 3 is at the level they were last year, those 3 could win him a ton of weeks. Like they could just win a ton of weeks just because they have that electric kind of upside. But yeah, the Thomas is a little scary.
Well, and I think the other thing here is, that's just my opinion in terms of like, yeah, you want 2 wide receivers flexed. But this could be a team after week 3 with Kamara back where it's looking like Allen, Kincaid, Henry, Jones, Chase, Hopkins, Connor, Kamara as a starting lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Or even if you remove one of those running backs from the flex and have Juju in there, that's an option as well. So as the year goes on, I do think this team, that's the thing, right? Is like you come out of your draft with a solid enough foundation, waiver wires, trades, everything can work itself out. There is a pretty decent foundation here with guys like Chase, Henry, Allen, and even if Kincaid kind of does what a lot of people think he's going to do, there's still at least a foundation here. And like I still think D-Hop will be consistent, but I think the ceiling's a little bit lower. So, all right, on to Cinnabone.
Oof, this team was so good, dude. I was just watching it the whole draft.
Guys, I have to admit I forgot about my boy Kenny Gainwell tonight. So Cinnabon, I will trade you the Seahawks defense for Gainwell. I just love Gainwell at his value, and yeah, behind Swift would have been a smart pick for me. But I would have had to take him over like Richardson to get him. Anyways. Watson and Prescott, man, I think you smashed at quarterback tonight. I think, you were expressing you wanted Tua late and you were bummed he went earlier than he expected, but I still think in terms of a late round quarterback build, you could have not done better. Steven, turn your music off. Goddard at tight end, Love that. I think you got a great value at tight end. Etienne Sanders Akers, I love that start at running back. Miller and Gainwell are great, redraft, handcuff committee, late round guys. Hill, Higgins, Ayuk, Johnston, Mooney. I like this team a lot too. I agree. Jags defense. And you got the Moody. He did look kind of bad in preseason, but it's early. So I think it's a good team. You're starting Watson and Goddard, or Prescott and Goddard, Etienne Sanders, Hill, Higgins, Ayuk, Johnston. You got Akers and Mooney, a second quarterback on the bench, Miller, Gainwell. I think the Jags defense is a good sleeper pick. I like them a lot. And kicker doesn't really matter. So I think it's a good team. It's my favorite team so far.
Yeah, that team is loaded up top, man. And yeah, I apologize. Somebody's car is going insane outside right now. That was killing my ears.
Music, bro.
No. I'm not bumping loud music right now, man.
I thought it was like a ringtone.
No.
Spence boy. We haven't seen Spence. We need Spence in the chat, talking some annual smack.
I know. I thought he was gonna be talking some shit to me tonight. That's what I was all prepared.
I think he said he had something he was doing, or like he was like going to be driving home from work or something.
Okay, fair enough.
Spence, what we get into, bro? Rodgers and Cousins. I love it. Get the vets. I can't hate on a team with Kirk Cousins. He's my new man crush. And Njoku. I love Njoku in the 8th. I think he's going to have a very good year. C-Mac, Jacobs, White, Mitchell. Love that. I knew you were going to take White so that I couldn't have a chance to draft him, but I didn't think I was going to get White anyways. But I love him as your third RB. If Jacobs, Jacobs at value. We talked about that earlier.
Nuts.
Like a lot of people right now might go Gibbs there, maybe even go Najee. But Jacobs, like, can you really hate on it? I mean, you've got like the RB 2 and 3 from last year with C-Mac and Jacobs. Waddle, McLaurin, Pittman, Brown, J-Mo, Pierce. I can live with that. Cowboys defense, Younghoe Koo. So, like, J-Mo, not my favorite guy right now.
Yeah, dude, I'm really freaking out about J-Mo right now because I was obsessed in college, and I'm just really starting to worry that this guy might just be a bust, dude, with all this crap going on.
I'm not very enthusiastic about him. I like Pierce in the 15th.
He's a sneaky upside. He's sneaky upside. He's the deep threat on this team. He's a sneaky upside.
For sure. And Anthony Richardson's going to have a great year. So I think he's but I think you have some solid wide receivers here. Like there's not a ton of upside between McLaurin, Pittman, and Brown, but there's a lot of consistency in full PPR. That's fine. I like Brown as a wide receiver 4 a lot. I think he was a great pick. I probably go Kirk, honestly, at 5.4 is where I'm at. Yeah. And I probably go Ayuk over McLaurin. But I don't think these are bad picks necessarily. And I'm happy
McLaurin's my guy, bro.
Yeah.
McLaurin's my guy.
See, I prefer Dotson in a later round.
Yeah, that's true. Where did Dotson go in this draft?
I almost went Dotson over Swift and went Dotson and Kirk and just went all in, but I'm happy I didn't. I don't think that would have been a even build for me. Anyways, so we're starting Rodgers or Cousins and Njoku, C-Mac and presumably Jacobs, but if not, White, Waddle, McLaurin, Pittman, Brown. It's a good starting lineup, and there's definitely some scary stuff here. If Cousins is just close to what he did last year, he's a top 10 quarterback. Rodgers takes a step forward, can be back into the top 10 range. It's weird saying Rodgers take a step forward, but just compared to last year.
Yeah.
Njoku, the Browns are going to throw the football a lot more this year. And he's still just a good value in the 8th. C-Mac, Jacobs, self-explanatory. White is a great RB3. Mitchell still has value, but obviously is the handcuff to C-Mac, a smart pick. Waddle, McLaurin, Pittman, Brown, full PPR is a very good lineup. I think J-Mo is okay here on the bench. I'm not crazy about him right now, but at least there's upside on the bench. And I don't remember if the league settings are going to allow Spencer to put him on IR or not, but Spence likes to put people on IR, so maybe that was his method. And then Pierce is good there. So good defense, good kicker. I never really underestimate Spence because he's very good with trades and very good with the waiver wire. And I think this is a good foundational team for him. So
Especially if CMC and Jacobs are both good
yeah,
to go.
that could be scary.
That's pretty disgusting right there, man.
All right, let's do it.
Oh,
Let's do it. All right, what we do tonight? Lamar in the 5th. That's fine. Fryermuth in the 8th was fine. I loved your start, man. Eckler,
yeah.
Adams, Ridley, Walker. Oh, I like your team. I mean, all right. Eckler, Walker, Charbs, Algier, Warren. Why did you do this?
Dude, I'm cutting him. I'm gonna grab Daniel Carlson.
I don't.
Actually, Carlson's already gone.
I guess
But
that's your thing this year is drafting CEH. But
yeah,
I mean, you got some good handcuff value at the end of your draft and redraft that can have a lot of value. You just have to have the patience to hold guys like Algier, like Warren, because they can become top waiver wire priorities like whenever their respective guy misses a game or two or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
I like Charbs. I kind of like him less because you have Walker.
I know.
I know that doesn't make sense to everyone, but I just feel like, you know,
I could have had
like
Herbert.
let's say here's why I don't prefer this. Okay. God forbid Eckler gets hurt, right? Now you have Walker and Charbs are your primary running backs. You know, where it could be like if Eckler gets hurt, you have Walker and Herbert.
Yeah, that's what it would have been. And I was
Walker and McKinnon, you know what I mean? But I still think you drafted the best available running back at the time, so I can't really like knock you. You know what I mean?
I still think that Sharps is going to be used so much. And I'll say this with Algier. That's what I was saying about Arthur Smith. Like I think Arthur Smith is going to use all his backs. And Warren, I think, has a sneaky upside to be like a every game type of participator where he's doing good things out of the backfield. CEH definitely not going to be not going to be doing shit. But yeah.
Well, your wide receivers are interesting.
You don't love them, huh? You don't love these receivers.
No, I think it's probably the best part of your team.
Yeah.
Adams, Ridley was nice. You got Adams at a great value. You even got Ridley at a good value compared to a lot of mocks as of late.
Mm-hmm.
Godwin's a great wide receiver 3. I like Addison a lot this year. I think he's going to get a ton of targets.
He's my favorite rookie receiver.
Yeah, and then I talked about that. You know, like I think you have to target a rookie wide receiver. We talked about the tier I like. Addison obviously in there. Beckham is fine.
Yeah.
You know, I probably prefer Mooney or even Myers in that range. But, you know, I like that you went for some upside. And, you know, Rashee Rice is fine. Not my favorite guy there. But once again, I like that you ended your last 2 wide receivers with upside because I think you have a lot of stability in these first 4 guys.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you got to draft for upside, right? So Ravens defense, great. I think your team's fine, man. I mean, you're starting Lamar and Fryermuth, Eckler and Walker. Eckler and Walker, I think, could be a nasty combo.
Yeah.
Adams and Ridley, Godwin and Addison. So I think you have a really good starting lineup. And that second flex, let's say Addison takes some time to get going or whatever, like you do have some options to throw in there. Good handcuffs. It's a solid redraft team.
And I think from what I recall, the Seahawks have a pretty favorable start to the season offensively, schedule wise. And so if Walker's healthy, I think he's going to be one of those guys that's really productive in the first 3 to 4 games. Same with Geno Smith, your guy. I think they're both going to be studs for sure.
And Anthony Richardson. Chat, let us know what you think of Steven's team. He needs your feedback. All right, Godfather. Going out with his conviction, as always. Man, I thought I was going to get Garrett Wilson tonight. You know, I really like A.J. Brown and CeeDee Lamb in that range. Would have been really hard for me to pass on Lamb. But my plan tonight was to draft Wilson and St. Brown because I just want one league where I have both those guys because they're so much fun. Anyways, Tua in the 7th, Ingram in the 8th. I'm not going to knock you for getting your quarterback when you wanted him. It looked like other guys had plans to draft him. If Tua was at the right value for me, I would have taken him. I'm not going to knock you there. Harris, that's your boy. Javonte, Herbert, Damian Harris, Zeke. I think pretty good value actually at running back. Garrett Wilson, Devonta Smith could be really nasty. Judy and Pickens are fun. Myers, I like in the 11th. You got the best kicker ever in Daniel
Dude,
Carlson.
freaking stud.
I love the Jets defense this year. I think they're going to be top 5. And
Good
I like
pick.
Jordan Love behind Tua. I think it's smart to take a second guy behind Tua. So
Good first 2 weeks too against Chicago and Atlanta.
yeah, I mean, we're starting Tua and Ingram, Harris and Javonte, presuming he's healthy, assuming he's healthy, wrong word. Wilson Smith, flexing Judy, flexing Pickens. So like, I think this team's all right. You got Herbert, Harris, Myers, Zeke, and Love on the bench. I should have drafted Zeke, shouldn't I?
I actually really think Zeke is going to be used way more than people want him to be used with
Sure.
the Patriots. Like
Sure.
the dude can pass block like no other. I just feel like Bill is one of those annoying guys. He's gonna be using his ass.
Yeah. Well, Ramondre is going to be okay. I just want you guys to understand that.
Not biased. Not biased.
My bias is changed. Now I like hope Zeke gets hurt and like all my Zeke love is wrong. But Godfather, I think it's a pretty good team. You know, you got to have Judy and Pickens got to show up for you for sure. But
Pickens
as long
is
as
looking fresh in the preseason, man. In the practice, he's a practice stud.
He always is, right?
Yeah.
All right, Chase, what we do tonight, broski? We got Herbert at QB, Andrews at tight end. Those are both fine. Pollard, Gibson, McKinnon, Bigsby. You know, for obviously you go tight end in the 3rd, QB in the 5th. You're going to sacrifice somewhere. You sacrifice at running back, but I like McKinnon in the 10th, and I like Bigsby in the 11th. Like I mentioned, I was kind of hoping Bigsby might fall to me, and Bigsby's been your guy. I should have known better. Cup, Allen, Dotson, JSN, Burks, Collins, Mims, good wide receiver value, Saints defense, and McManus. So let's see. We'd be starting Herbert and Andrews, Pollard and Gibson, NFC East, baby. Cup, Allen, Dotson, JSN. Pretty solid bench between Burks, McKinnon, Bigsby, Collins, and Mims. Not my favorite team, but I think there's a lot of potential with this squad at the same time.
I tell you what, I think I hate Chase right now because Chase sniped me twice in this draft with Pollard and Keenan Allen. I was so pissed off. I wanted Pollard so bad to match up.
You weren't getting Pollard there, man.
I was 2 picks away, man. I was like, come on, just land to me.
Actually, with the Mahomes pick sprinkled in there, you actually
I was close. And then Keenan Allen, I was really thinking I was going to get him too.
Yeah.
I was frustrated.
Pollard as a RB1 is really nice. Pollard with Eckler. I mean, I actually, you know, Steven, in your case, much as I like Pollard, I still think Eckler, Adams, Ridley, Walker was a phenomenal start. I like Pollard more than Walker, but I like Walker a ton. And I think you got him at a far better value than a 2nd-round pick. You know what I mean?
Polly Wally is so cool, though, bro. And, man, dude. Polly Wally.
Okay. Well, team looks pretty good, Chase. I don't like Burks.
No,
that's really the only thing I don't like that you did. But really, I would have gone Sky Moore there, or Dobbs or Sutton. But other than that, I think your draft was fine, man. All right, Jer Bear, the wild card tonight. Just happy to have Jerry back with us. Let's see.
Mahomes best team is up next.
You know what? Like last year, I remember Jerry's team, which is kind of the opposite of what he did this year.
He killed everybody.
Jerry's team was amazing last year. And I remember coming out of his draft, we were kind of like, this is not how we would draft at all. And then Jerry was like the best team all year. You know? So, you know, it is what it is. But Mahomes, like, can you really knock anyone for taking Mahomes?
Nah, you can't.
No, you can't. And like I said, like Mahomes going beginning the 3rd in most mocks, maybe even middle 3rd, depending on your league. In a lot of your home leagues, somebody's going to say, I'm drafting Mahomes. I don't care what it costs. So I don't really have a problem with that. Kittle, like, yeah, I'm not going to knock anyone for taking Kittle. It's about his appropriate value. He might fall a little bit further, but that's fine. Gibbs, Madison, Cook, Dalvin Cook, A. Shane. I think the running backs are great, but obviously you sacrificed a lot of wide receiver value for heavy running back, early quarterback, early tight end. So, but
Yeah.
still, like Diggs and Debo, very solid wide receiver one, and I still think I prefer Debo as a wide receiver 3, but let's not, say Debo's an awful wide receiver 2. The upside's still there. Then you got Cooks, Chark, Rondell Moore, and Zay Jones. So there's still like potential for all those guys. I still think those last 3 guys were at good value. I mean, you obviously have a great kicker. You have a great defense. You probably reached on Justin Tucker.
Just a little
Uh,
bit, just a hair, just a hair.
but somebody always does, in a lot of leagues. Somebody is going to reach on Tucker, so it is what it is. But I still think, Jerry, you're probably in a situation where you're flexing at least one running back, if not 2. So you're probably looking at Mahomes, Kittle, Gibbs, Madison, Diggs, Debo, and then you're probably flexing the Cook brothers, or maybe
Dude,
A-Chain slips in there, and maybe one of these wide receivers, Zay
yo,
Jones or Chark, Cooks. But
low key though, dude. Like, I mean, if Brees Hall doesn't play the first couple games, and like, what if a receiver emerges on the waiver wire? Like, I mean, that could be a flex option down the road.
yeah,
Like, the Cook brothers could be nasty at flex.
well, like once again, this is not how I would have drafted, but I actually don't think this team is like, I don't think it's awful by any means. I just the wide receiver strat worries me. And it's interesting, Jerry, because last year you kind of did the opposite. You had an early quarterback, early tight end, but you went really aggressive at wide receiver and faded running back. And this year I felt like you went aggressive at running back and kind of faded wide receiver, even having 2 through the first 4 rounds. So interesting. But yeah, I think this team might actually be okay. It's just going to get it done differently. So
I think he had Diggs last year too. I want to say he
yeah,
did.
Diggs and Allen. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a disgusting pair right
Yeah.
there, man.
We'll see what happens, Jer. JW with
Oof,
Bijan at the 1-9. I know
yes,
you were happy about that, man. I
it's a
mean,
good
you
team.
can't even you
This might be one of the best teams.
well, I know Jacobs was sitting back all night licking his chops, but let's see here. Fields, he got his boy Waller. That's his tight end he wants. I'm not going to knock him at all. Bijan, Penny, Mostart, Roshan. I will say, and Pierce. Okay, I missed Pierce. If he didn't have Pierce, I was going to be a little worried.
that's
Like,
that's a nice backfield.
yeah, Pierce as an RB2 behind Bijan's fine. Then you're just kind of going for that handcuff dead zone value. I can't knock you. Alave, London, Watson, I love. Davis and Bateman are fine. I'm not crazy high on them, but they're fine. Van Jefferson, the 14th, is good.
Yeah.
Eagles defense, Myers, you're good there. But
Oof.
okay, let's see. You're starting Fields, Waller, Bijan, Pierce, Alave, London, Watson, and your flex. Then your second flex, probably Gabe Davis, right? Which I still think in the 8th round, compared, even if he just does what he did last year, that's still a good value at wide receiver 36. So,
You think he's gonna be better this year?
no. But do I think he could perform similar to how he did last year? Yeah, he's boom or bust. He's the flex option here. I can't knock it.
He's Mike Williams. He's Mike Williams, just a
No,
little bit
Mike
less.
Williams. Mike Williams would be much better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Talks getting Mike Williams at 7.1 was great, but
Yeah.
this is a very J Dubs team. I'm not gonna knock it. Bijan was, I think, the best value in the first round. I'm a little biased because I'm willing to take Bijan like 1.3. But yeah, I love that he landed your team. I think it worked perfectly for you, man. I like Olave a lot this year. I love London. Yeah, you got the sophomore trio here, but I love Fields in the 5th. I think your team's gonna be just fine, man.
Very young team. Very young
Mike.
team.
I forgot Mike was even drafting. He didn't like snipe me at all tonight.
Two tight ends.
The Monty pick. The Monty pick was the only one, Mike, in case you're wondering, where I was like, I didn't think I was going to get Monty, but I was hoping I would. Anyways, 2 tight ends. Okay. Wow. T-Law at quarterback. Love that. Hawkinson and Kelsey could be redonkulous. We'll come back to that. Chubb, Monty, Pirine, Wilson, Foreman's fine. I love Chubb with Monty as a RB2. That could be great value. The only thing I don't like that happened to you, Mike, is you're hurting. I won't say you're hurting, but you lost wide receiver value. Like Cooper's your wide receiver 1. I like him a lot, but I like him as a wide receiver 2. But like, okay, we'll come back to all this. Cooper, Deontay, Evans, Lazard, Boyd. You still got pretty good late round wide receiver value. Money Mac, and then you forfeit defense for Goff. That's fine. Here's the thing, though. You're getting a wide receiver 1 in Kelsey. He's just in a different spot, you know? So if you're starting T-Hawk, you're flexing Kelsey, you have a wide receiver 1 in the flex still, you know? So you're going to have T-Law, Chubb, Monty, let's say Hawkinson, Cooper, Deontay, Kelsey. Then you're just filling in that final flex probably with Mike Evans, maybe Alan Lazard. Then you have some committee running backs on your bench with Tyler Boyd, who's kind of a handcuff wide receiver to Chaser Higgins. So, I'm never going to underestimate Mike because he's good at fantasy and comes to haunt me every year. So
it's a very interesting approach. I don't think I've seen this a ton, but
no,
when you actually do kind of value Kelsey like he should be valued, which is like a receiver, it's pretty impressive. Because I mean, he really isn't a tight end. He is a wide receiver, and that's how
yeah,
he kind of grades out every year. So, yeah, I mean, he's got a tight end, and he's got a receiver at flex. Just like you were saying.
just an interesting draft tonight. All right, Andrea, what we do? I like Andrea's team, I think. All right, Hurts at QB, Dulcich at tight end, I think is fine, but I'm starting to get a little worried about him.
That's stash. Don't let him around your kids.
I mean, Dulcich has been like one of my late round guys, but now you're hearing all this buzz about Trotman
Trump,
being
Trump, Trump.
listed as the number 1. And I was not worried about that early on. Now I'm a little bit worried about it because it's starting to show in the preseason. So I'm a little worried, but I'm still okay. And I think on the waivers, you just got to stay peeled. Like those first 3 weeks are crucial for tight ends on the waivers who could end up being actual values throughout the year. So we'll see what happens. I love Hurts at the 311. Man, if Hurts came to me at the 312, I was going to have a very interesting scenario.
This team
Barkley, what's that?
This team is just so freaking good, dude.
I do like this team a lot. Barkley, Mixon, Dobbins. There's a lot of potential with those 3. Then you got Singletary and Zamir White, very good values. Let's say Jacobs does get traded. You have an RB1. Let's say he holds out. You have an RB1 for a couple weeks, and your final position player. It's fine. Singletary has actually looked pretty good, and yeah, I mean he started the preseason as the opener, but Pierce probably still the guy. But Singletary is going to vulture more touches, and I think people realize. Wide receivers look good. Lamb, Lockett, Flowers, Elijah Moore, Sky Moore, Sutton. For not going with your second wide receiver till the 5th and not going with your third till the 7th, you still arguably came out of the draft with the best wide receiver room.
Yeah.
A lot to be found out here. How does Elijah Moore really fare with Cleveland? Is Zay Flowers really going to be a wide receiver 1? Is Sky Moore going to progress in his sophomore year? And does Sutton actually not suck? But
I think Sutton's a wide receiver 1 for that Broncos team.
I mean, I like all of these guys at the end of the day, and I think you got really good value here. I mean, you're starting Hurts and Dulcich, Barkley and Mixon, Lamb, Lockett. Then like your flex is wide open. Dobbins, Flowers, Moore, Sky Moore, Sutton, all those guys can filter in. So you're in a really good, comfortable spot to head into week 1 with. I think this is a good team. That might be my favorite team. The only thing that really, if the Dulcich scenario wasn't going on, it'd probably be my favorite team.
But those late round tight ends are so, streamy anyways.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, once you kind of get past round, what was that? Where you get him, round 11?
Yeah.
Was that the last tight end taken? Or no, second to last, right, of the draft?
Yeah. That was the final.
Yeah, pretty well.
I did like that team a lot, Andrew. All right, should I do my team? I guess I
Yeah,
should. Okay. All right, we went late round quarterback. I had a feeling this was going to happen. Too many guys coming to me at the end of each round that I liked skill position wise. But chat, let me know. Do your worst. Gino and Anthony Richardson, how are you guys feeling?
I like it a lot. I think you've got stability to allow AR to find himself the first few weeks, and that's when Gino's schedule is super ripe too at the beginning. Whenever I would do mocks, when I mock against the computer and all, I always try to stack AR with Jared Goff or Gino because it allows, him to become the guy he is. And he's just perfect late round quarterback. And you got freaking studs at receiver, dude. I mean, your top four receivers are absolutely nuts. And they're built. The also, I don't even know if you meant to do this, but I like the way you drafted it because you got high upside AJ Brown with the safety of Amon Ra, high upside with DJ Moore with the safety of Christian Kirk. Like it's kind of like you have two guys to balance you out with two guys to blow up the scoreboard. I'll say the dudes that I'm most scared about on your team, AJ Dillon, and I don't know how I feel about DeAndre Swift. I'll be honest, but I mean
Yeah.
Swift obviously has huge upside, but
Well,
Dylan, I'm very sketch about, to be honest.
that's fine because, like, I'm just trying to filter that RB2 spot.
Yeah,
It's not a perfect
I like
hero running back
Pacheco. I
build.
like Pacheco a lot. I think Pacheco could be good this year.
Yeah. I wish Monty had fell. If I could have got
Oh,
Monty and Pacheco, I would have been like ecstatic at running back.
yeah, you've been stacked.
The main question with my team is Ramondre Stevenson. My team relies on Ramondre keeping top 15 value this year with his PPR upside. But I will say, I mean, I don't have a kicker right now, but I love this wide receiver room.
Who are
You
you gonna
know,
cut?
uh, I
Rashid?
don't I don't know. I really like Shaheed. So I mean, AJ Brown, Amon Ra, DJ Moore, Christian Kirk, Doobie, Tank Dell, and Shaheed. I feel very good about that. I mean, the good thing with this league, even though we drafted early, is we have some time.
Yeah.
So I have time to figure it out, or maybe trade Richardson. I can't trade Richardson. I got to stick with. He's my boy
Dude,
now.
trade him to me, man. I'll give you Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I'm going to drop someone, and it probably is going to be Tank Dell or Shaheed, unfortunately. But we'll see. Maybe someone gets hurt. Maybe DeAndre Swift like breaks his leg tomorrow. Probably the most likely scenario here. But hey,
Yeah.
I'm so happy I got Komet. I thought someone out there was purposely going to take like 2 tight ends or just do whatever they could so I didn't draft Cole Komet because I've drafted him in like every mock draft.
Oh, dude, to be 6'6"
Yeah.
would be so crazy.
But I like Komet a lot here. So let's see. I'm starting Gino and Komet. My team is really relying on Ramondre and Gino right now, but that's okay. Gino, Komet, Ramondre, Swift, AJ Brown, St. Brown, DJ Moore, Kirk. I can put Pacheco in over Swift if I need to. I'm fine with Dylan as a RB4. I love Romeo Dobbs on the bench. Tank Dell and Shaheed provide some nice upside on the bench too. There are a lot of wide receivers available when I did that run that I like, and some of them are
Yeah.
still on the waiver, so I'm not going to say anything. But I think ultimately I'm okay with this team. I mean, the fact that I got Christian Kirk as my wide receiver 4, you guys
Yeah.
know that moment in the draft made me very happy because that's my guy. And quite frankly, I would have gone Kirk at the 512 if I didn't feel like I had to go running back right there. So um, I'm okay with this squad tonight. I can live with it.
Yeah, I
And
like the team a lot. I like the team a lot. I
I
definitely like
think
the Kirk pick.
if anything, we can say it's better than Steven's team,
I
and that's all
think
that matters.
I think so. Well, it's not better than Jerry's team. It's not better than Jerry's
That's
team.
fair. I mean, no one's going to be better than Jerry. So
I will say this: who were the best teams last year? Was it Jerry, Spencer, and Andrea? Andrea was nuts last year. She killed me, man.
I believe Spencer won. I think it was Jerry and Spence.
Everybody took all the quarterbacks, and I had Sam Darnold at the end of the season.
Oh,
I
I,
remember that very well.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Wow, there's already things happening in the league. Michael's already dropped Jared Goff, and
I saw a bunch of stuff going down too.
oh gosh, I play Spencer week 1.
I think I played Jerry week 1. Let's see here.
I was trying to look at last year to see if I
Holy
could pull it
crap.
up.
Dude, Jerry's projected to crush me.
Well, good.
Oh, wait, it's because I don't have a kicker in. And he's got Justin Tucker.
It
Freaking
was
Clyde Edwards
it
there.
was you, Steven, or you, Jerry, and Richard Glass were the top 4 last year.
Me, Jerry, and Richard Glass.
Uh-huh.
And Spencer.
Yes.
Okay.
Spencer
Andrea.
Spencer went. You had a really good final week. You had 168 points.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was like not the championship. And I think Andrea had like the highest scoring team though.
Yeah, she had a great
Her
team.
team was like they could never get not outscored.
Michael already picked up Daniel Jones, so things are happening quickly.
Who's projected to get the most points week 1? It is I think it's Toxalt. It's Toxalt.
Tox came in the chat and said, I think if I was drafting the team would have been worse.
Dude, Toxalt's projected to have the most points week 1. That's what's up.
Yeah. I mean, I think all in all it was a good draft. I think there's a lot of well-rounded teams, a lot of different builds. And ultimately I think this league's going to be great. And League 2 starts tomorrow, so like of course I'm projected to lose to Spencer week 1. Oh, but why does I have Richardson in as my starter?
I like how it just automatically put him there.
I'm gonna. And I have no kicker in. He is a kicker in. So I think. Yeah, he's got it. I don't have a kicker in, so that if I had a kicker in, I'd be projected to beat him. So suck it, Spencer. Um, I like my team. I'm feeling pretty good right now. I'm just gonna like ride. This is like I peaked in life right now, so I feel good. Chat guys, I'm so sorry. We were like so behind in the chat. We missed a ton of stuff, and yeah, so I'm sorry. And anyone new in the chat, thank you for being here. Thank you guys for joining us. Sometimes it's tough to keep up with the chat during, but thank you guys. And anything you want to go over, Stephen?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was definitely really fun tonight. It was interesting because I do a lot of mock drafts against the computer, seeing kind of the difference. And I know you hate mock drafts against the computer, but it was interesting to see. And I felt like where I could really tell the major difference was probably rounds like 8 onwards. Some of those guys that I would have expected to be there 10, 11 on were just gone already. And so it really kind of hurt me. And I felt that in this draft because when I look at my team, I thought actually that was kind of the drop off in my draft, to be honest. That's, where I started going. I was kind of just throwing darts. I mean, I feel pretty confident about Algier and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. And a lot of good teams out here. A lot of good teams out here. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see Jerry this year. I'm excited to beat his butt week 1. I'm very pumped for that.
Michael, your draft is crazy, man. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. All right. Well, I don't know if there's anything else we can add tonight. Just gotta let it settle. So
Let it breathe.
congrats to everyone in League 1. Thank you guys for being a part of the tournament this year. This league's gonna be a ton of fun. Cinnabon offered me Kenneth Gainwell for DJ Moore. So
That's great. That's a great trade, John. Just let it marinate. Okay, let it marinate tonight. Come
I'm
back
gonna
to it
think
tomorrow
about it.
morning. Yeah.
We should mention there is a site-wide special on Underdog. Anthony Richardson over half of a total yard in week 1.
It's gonna be close. It's gonna be close.
Oh no, actually this is Saturday. This is the preseason game. So wait, who did the Colts play week 1?
Colts play week 1 of the Jags.
Okay, yeah, this is a preseason game. So Underdog, they sent me a new shirt today. So
Oh
make sure you
yeah.
guys sign up with our promo
How'd you
code.
like the new hat, John?
They didn't send me a new hat.
Oh, they didn't. They say you tennis balls, right?
Yeah, guys, everyone tweet Underdog and tell them to send me a new hat because they sent me everything but a new hat, including tennis balls. So thank you, Underdog. I've worn this hat like every stream for over a year straight. It is
Dude.
time for a new hat.
Yo, I was wearing funny quick story. I went to
Great.
Trader Joe's, great place, cheap product. But I went to Trader Joe's the other night and I was walking in the store. There was a very sketchy guy. He looked like he might have been, a little interesting guy. I came in there with my Underdog shirt and he was like, Underdog, and just like he said it in the most menacing way possible, and I was just like, hell yeah, brother. Just kept walking, but it was very, very scary. But that was my story.
I mean, that is a pretty entertaining story. I do feel like whenever I wear my Underdog shirts, a lot of people don't know what Underdog is.
Yeah. So I don't know if the guy just thought like I was saying I was an underdog in life or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
Yeah, that's how I look at it. Like it's, I'm an underdog. Like, fear me. So
You feel like Slim Shady or something coming out of 8 Mile.
anyways, great to have you back, Steven. Feels like
Yeah,
we're back
man.
in action here.
Mhm.
Steven will be back on Thursday nights with me at 7 p.m. for Thursday night fantasy Q&A, just like we did last year. And Steven will be back for his must start kickers and must start defense videos throughout the year. So I know he's stoked about that. I know you guys are stoked. We are the one channel who cares about kickers and defenses still. So Steven, good to have you back, man. I know
Heck yeah,
everyone was
man.
happy to see you.
Yeah, it was
And
awesome.
you didn't draft awful. So
Joseph Innes. Who was Steve?
who is Steven with the wrong spelling?
The original way I spelled my name. The original way,
That's true.
Joseph. So that's all
Changed it.
good. That's all good.
Steven has always been on the channel. He was a little bit more frequently on more the first year, but as things have as life has gone on, things have
Yeah.
changed. But Steven and I have been best friends since second grade. So we have known each other forever. And
John threw up on my car when he was in second grade.
I did throw up in Steven's car more than once.
Strawberries.
I used to throw up
Disgusting.
a lot. So thanks for that. But
Yeah.
Steve and I have both played fantasy together since at least the fifth grade, and have
Yeah.
have always had that love for fantasy football and football together. So he's been part of the channel, part of the reason the channel exists, and we're happy to have you back, man. So
Yeah, dude, I'm pumped, man. I'm excited to get back into making the videos too and getting those out there. They're always fun. Going to try to keep the I think we can both say that the defense and kicker videos are they're a little bit goofier sometimes, but they're also I think good content, and we try to give really good analysis to pick out what the best streams are going to be for each week. And shit, man, they matter. If your league focuses on defenses and kickers, they can win you weeks, man. They can straight up win you weeks. So it's definitely always good to pay attention to that kind of stream.
Jerry is saying you used to beat me in Madden on the streams. That is not true. But
Dude,
put that out
yo,
there.
hey, John, have you gotten the new Madden?
No.
Are you going to?
No.
I think it'd be fun. We could do it. We could do a stream or something.
Yeah. I'm not gonna buy a game just to play you once on stream. Because I bought the last Madden and I played it like twice, and I just don't have any time to play Madden. So,
dude, they get better every year, John. They do a lot of.
Have you seen the animation of the Jalen Waddle touchdown dance?
What is it? Really horrible?
Go watch it and then tell me that game got better this year, please. Everyone, go watch the Jalen Waddle touchdown dance for the
EA does it the best, man.
It's just a mess. It's like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll always play some Madden. I love it, but it's like I can't believe how bad it is.
It is
Ridiculous.
like Joseph said right there. It's $70 for a roster update.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right, so that'll wrap it up, ladies and gents. Guys, hit the like on the way out. Subscribe if you guys are new. Thank you for being here. We are powered by Talk Studio. If you guys can see in the top right corner, Melon got bought by Streamlabs, and now they're Talk Studio. We'll probably start going live through StreamYard. I just don't have time to set it up tonight, so it should look a little bit better. But anyways, fun stream, great draft, everyone. Congrats to League One. Crossing our fingers, no one major gets hurt, especially AJ Brown, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Ramondre Stevenson, DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift, Christian Kirk, and Cole Kmet, and Geno Smith, and Anthony Richardson, and
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So, guys, the season is coming. I think we're 20 days or 19 days away. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's going to be a great year. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate all the support, all of our subscribers, all of our A1 Day One subscribers. And, like I said, it's good to have Steven back and good to kind of get back in the field for the year to start rolling. So appreciate you guys, man. Thank you guys for coming out tonight, talking fantasy, watching this draft, hanging out during the draft. And that's going to go ahead and wrap it up. So love you guys, man. Love this community. Love the Catch fam. Steven, I'll let you do an awkward sign off and then I'll close out.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think that this league right here is truly a testament to the Catch too. I mean, you think about some of the day ones that have been here all the way from the beginning. It's pretty nuts. So love you guys. And yeah.
Perfect. All right, I'll be back on tomorrow night, more than likely, for League 2's draft. And that wraps it up for the night. So thank you guys, man. And with that, I will say, thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here.
The Catch.
On the Catch. And peace.